What is up, guys? It's your boy Silver Fox, and it's been a while. What has it been, like a week? A week about there since I posted anything. It's been a little busy. Schoolwork, regular work, all those things. But I hope to get another episode of NBA out soon. And then honestly, I'll probably just be streaming or posting Naruto Shinobi Striker videos because FIFA comes out in a week or something like that. So, I'm definitely just gonna fiend on that for you guys when that comes out. So, like a week, I'll be just FIFA, NBA, and then movie talks and all that stuff like that. So yeah, that's just where I'm at right now. But anyways, we're gonna talk sports news right now. So we're gonna wrap up Premier League Matchweek 5, and we're gonna talk about news that was just broke to me that I just saw after I got out of work about the NBA. So we're gonna talk about that stuff right now. Firstly, we're gonna recap Premier League Matchweek 5. It was a pretty crazy weekend and weekday, honestly. On Monday we had Brighton Southampton. That was a crazy game. Sunday we had Burnley Wolves and Everton West Ham. Everton West Ham was probably the game of that day. West Ham got back in form. They beat Everton 3-1. And then Saturday was the big day. Probably the three most important games of the match week. One of them, Liverpool Spurs. The other, Manchester United Watford. And then the third, for me, I thought it would have been Newcastle Arsenal. So I'm going to tell you why. I thought those were the most important games of the weekend. So Liverpool Spurs, obviously, that's big just because Liverpool's been contending for probably the last 2 years now. And now they have a really, really good team. In my opinion, this should have been a draw. I only caught highlights. I didn't really watch this game. It should have been a draw. I feel like everybody should agree with that. Even Liverpool fans, they're lucky that penalty didn't get called in the last minute. The penalty on Sadio Mane. Yeah, that should have been a draw. Harry Kane seemed to be, from what I have heard, seemed to be quelled a bit. Tottenham only had 3 shots. Tottenham only had 3 shots on target. And they had 11 shots. That's a good amount, but the accuracy on that isn't great because Liverpool had 17 shots and they had 10 on target. That just goes to show you Liverpool were a bit more clinical. Overall, though, I think that should have been a draw game. Chelsea should be 2 points ahead now because of that game if it had been a draw, but it wasn't. So obviously, that's just how I feel about that game. Can't do anything about it. It was a good game, though. It was a very good game. Second game, Newcastle and Arsenal. I think that was important just solely because if Arsenal ended up losing that game, it it, it would have caused a lot more turmoil for the fans and just the team in general, in my opinion. Playing Newcastle at St. James's Park is never an easy thing to do, especially with Benitez's tactics. And two unlikely scorers scored for Arsenal, Xhaka and Ozil. Yeah, but for me, that's an important game for Arsenal and just for the table in general as well, because if Arsenal had lost that, they'd be like 9th in the table right now. And, they were a lot further down, obviously, in the previous 3 or 4 weeks, but that could have been a worrisome game for Arsenal, even if they drew, because Emery's tactics might not be working. The team might, start falling out of form. You know how that team gets, when under pressure from fans and critics and stuff, they kind of tend to crumble. And it's not always their fault, they try their best, but fans and critics can be harsh sometimes. It's just good that they got that win. It's important for them in the table. And lastly, Manchester United Watford. That could have been it could have been game of the weekend, game of the week. Sadly, Watford lost, dropped down to 4th place. If they had won that, they would be probably third. They would be third probably, and United would probably be in the same position as Arsenal. It'd probably be 9th to 10th, something around there. And again, that was important for Manchester United to win that game because again, the same position with Arsenal. They haven't been competing for the past 3 or 4 years. It's been really bad times for them. And getting that win, especially against the Watford team that's been in form, absolutely crucial. There's no other word for it. Lukaku also scored, which is a good boost for him. He might be in better form now that he's grabbed his goal. So again, that's an important game for Arsenal and Manchester United, who haven't been competing in the past few years, but have gotten a good result from this past week. Lastly, I want to talk about my boys in blue, Chelsea. absolutely thumped Cardiff. Honestly, what do you expect? I'm not even gonna like pretend like that was an impressive game. It was impressive in some ways, but we haven't really come up against a really difficult opponent like Liverpool or Manchester United or Manchester City. We haven't come up against a team like that. It wasn't really a great game for either team that game, but I mean that's really the only competition that we've come up against so far. Bumped Cardiff, did a pretty good job with Bournemouth. Newcastle was a bit difficult, just again because it was at St James's Park. Difficult tactics against them. And then Huddersfield, our first game, we were a little shaky, but again because it's the quality of the team wasn't that great. We did get a 3-0 win. So next week we face West Ham, who come off a 3-1 win against Everton. They might be in good form. Who knows? It's at London Stadium, so that could be a difficult game, especially coming off Champions League and stuff. Okay, games on a Sunday, so it might not be that draining, but Thursday night games, those are always difficult ones to play. So hopefully Chelsea can pull out another win, and then next week after that, the Saturday, September 29th, who are also, not great, but, they're not bad, especially, they can surprise someone if they would like, and then we have Manchester United. Tough schedule coming up the next 3 weeks. Hopefully, we find our way, hopefully we keep playing the football that we are, and that, we can do this, we can beat, teams like that, like Liverpool, like United, with ease. So, hopefully that goes well. And that's it. Premier League match week 5. Those were the most important games for me, especially because, Arsenal and United, like I said, they got some good wins. Hopefully they start, getting into the competition now. So hopefully they start competing. As a Chelsea fan, but also as a critic and like, kind of like a supporter of just the Premier in general. You'd love to see those teams battling it out with yours. You'd always love a 6-0 against Arsenal, like a few years ago. You'd always love a 6-3 or something like that. But I mean, you love to see a good competitive game as well. Again, just as a fan of football in general, you just love to see competitive football, and you hope a team for the best. But yeah, so that's Premier League match week 5. I mean, it was a good week, good weekend. Hopefully this weekend is just as good. We can only hope. Now we're gonna talk some NBA talk. Let's get it. So news is just broke that Jimmy Butler has requested a trade. Shams Charania has officially broke the news that Jimmy Butler wants a trade out of Minnesota. This is big because as a Celtics fan, we don't need him. That's it. We don't need him because I've already seen people Jimmy Butler this, Jimmy Butler that. We what do they have to give us? We would give up something for them. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna give up our picks. We're not gonna give up a young good player for Jimmy Butler. And what else? Unless it's a package deal, Jimmy Butler and Cat, we give them all our picks. They start rebuilding. We give them Al Horford or something like that. I mean, that would never happen. But that's that's what it would take. Like Al Horford, maybe Jaylen Brown, our picks, Cat and Jimmy Butler. But I wouldn't want Jimmy Butler anyways. One, because he seems to be a troublemaker. He seems to be a troublemaker in the locker room. Forced D Rose out of Chicago. Him and D Wade clashed heads in Chicago. Is now requesting a trade from Minnesota. So I mean, I don't know if we want all that in the locker room. Boston's been nothing but honestly, you just see positivity in that locker room. People will say stuff about Kyrie and stuff like that, but other than that, you've just seen nothing but positive vibes, especially after the Gordon Hayward injury all last season. You just saw positive vibes. We want to get through this. We want to do this. We want to continue to get better and stuff like that. So I would not want Jimmy Butler on the Celtics, no matter what. Even if they gave us Cat too, it's just not what the Celtics would want. I hope that's not what they would want. He's turned in I guess a slip. I don't know what do you want to call it of where he wants to go. I think there's 3 teams. I guess maybe Boston's on the radar. LA is a big team that's been on the radar, and I guess New York also. I don't know why he would want to go to New York. There's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing really there for him. New York doesn't have really much to give other than Porzingis, Cancer, who are integral to the Knicks season this season. I wouldn't, if I was the Knicks, I wouldn't trade for him. And LA, I mean, they have a lot of assets. Let's not get it twisted. And then you would probably have to give away like Lonzo or Kuzma for Jimmy Butler, something like that, something of that magnitude to get Jimmy Butler. And I don't think they would want to do that because it's really just Bron on that team. Paul George didn't go. Kawhi didn't go. What? It's really just LeBron on that team, and I wouldn't want to go to LA if I was Jimmy Butler either. So I don't know where he wants to go. If those are the three teams that have been speculated that are on his three-team target list, then I don't know what Jimmy Butler's thinking because I would not once, want to go to any of those two teams other than Boston. And Boston wouldn't want him. So what's up? He's about to stay in Minnesota for the rest of the season. That's what's up. But yeah, I mean that's just a wrap up of what I've heard for Jimmy Butler so far, and a wrap up of Premier League Match Week 5. Um, Sorry it's so short sometimes. It's just that I have to keep it in the 15-minute range because I'm not verified YouTube thing, something like that. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. I hope they get more content out for you, especially next week because FIFA's coming out. We're just gonna bang out FIFA Ultimate Team, Career Mode, The Journey, whatever you guys want to see. FIFA 19 is coming, so I'm super excited for it. I can't wait to see the new features that they got, especially for Career Mode because I'm a huge Career Mode fan. Also pro clubs. So yeah, I'm just ready for that to come out already. I'm ready to see how it's gonna be, and I'm excited, man. Thank you guys for watching. Please always, leave a like, subscribe, comment, do whatever. Let me know how I can do better. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Silver Frogs out. Peace.